I can't. I tried to record it earlier, and it won't let me record and stream at the same time right now. And it's
no.
Probably because
OBS is messing up.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So anyway, what is that? We're live, guys.
Check.
Say hi.
Hi. Hello.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, how's everybody doing today? How's everybody out
We
there?
have mics.
Hungry.
Hungry. Okay, let me.
I'm doing well.
Excellent.
How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy week, and the baby girl got sick last night, and yeah, so it's been exhausting. Yeah, she has this crazy cough, and she has a stuffy nose, and she gets super dramatic when she can't. So she just starts crying, and then the crying makes it worse. So I basically had to sleep in her room next to her bed, so that when she started coughing, she knew I was there, so she wouldn't flip out and make mama get up and come in. So I had to be there to wipe her nose and all this stuff, and yeah.
What a good daddy.
Yeah.
This for me this morning when I was leaving to go to work, my daughter was going like, "Help, Papa, help, help," and she's calling out for me almost all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those.
She's not sick or anything. It's just symptomatic.
What does she need?
Say that again, Elle.
What did she need?
Me.
Oh, okay.
She wanted dad.
Daddy's girl. Stealth dad. Yeah. Okay, so let's get the show started. We are running definitely behind schedule, which means we're running on time for us.
And also that means that Mass Effect is happening fast.
Yes! Hurry up!
Okay, so we are on the cusp. Does that come out later tonight for you guys? Is that what it is?
It comes out at 12:01 a.m. on the 14th. So whenever 12:01 a.m. is for you.
Oh, that's...
So for me,
John.
It comes out in 53 minutes. So if we do this quickly, y'all can sit for an hour and watch me do character creation, and then start playing your own games.
Clothing.
Hey, we could do that.
Like, hey, that's a
we
cool
could do
thing.
that. I love hanging out in your streams. Lady A has it preloading now. So
yeah, mine is already downloaded. So it's all good.
Okay.
I have to wait for the physical copy at 10 o'clock in the morning. So,
We'll hang out with
So then you
Crimson.
can just watch me until
Right.
your physical copy gets here.
Exactly.
I know, and then I can do my taxes tomorrow morning.
I know I have to do that too.
Ew, gross.
I did my
Right?
taxes.
Mine like February.
I did my taxes.
Well,
The
aren't you fair?
tax man loves me right now.
Yeah, well, see, some of us have to pay taxes, so we don't want to.
Yeah,
What are taxes?
same here.
I know you have to pay them, but I know they
Hey,
don't have
child
to pay you
tax-
back when they owe you, apparently. Because, like, 3 different times I've not gotten my money back, and I'm like, okay, whatever, I guess.
Really?
Hey, child tax
Yeah,
credit.
like, the first time they owed me, like, $13, and they said they weren't going to give it to me because I wasn't 25 yet. And then the second
What?
time,
$13.
they owed me, like, 90 something off of, like, what was left, and they never gave it back. And the last time they owed me, like, literally just $20, and I still haven't seen it. And that was like 3 years ago.
Rude.
That is pretty rude.
It's like Twitch. You gotta wait till you get $200 and they'll pay you out all at once.
Oh my god.
Must be, damn.
I would yell at them so badly. I would be
Child
They're
tax
like,
credit
dude,
for
I'm
us,
not
so we
waiting
get.
for like 80, like $60 for you to pay me. So just pay me.
I love it when companies are just like, we need to send you like 23 cents back. So they print you out a check and then
Right.
mail it, which costs 51 cents for a
Oh,
check
yeah.
of 23 cents. It's like, you could have just kept it.
You know, back in the day when I was paying child support,
No,
I got
but-
a 5-cent check, and they had the.
Yep.
I was like, "What is a 5-cent check? What's that gonna do?" Okay, are we ready to get started? Let's stop talking about taxes and child support. All right, let's stop talking about.
No, they do. Yeah, really quick
I got
before we
one
get
last
started.
thing
Go
to
ahead.
say in that
Oh,
subject.
before Potion. She can go first.
Go
Here.
Potions.
Oh, yeah. I have to turn in a form to the IRS that allows Baby Commander's sperm donor to actually claim her on taxes for this past year because we trade years.
Oh,
That's always fun,
yeah. That's
Provided he's not in a
Especially-
movie. So,
especially when they don't want to pay for
Crimson. What you
babysitting.
got?
Oh, just insurance companies do the same thing. Like to my
Yeah.
parents, they'll pay them. Like literally, my mom's gotten a check for 1 cent before.
Well, they got
Petty.
to, right? I mean, they got to is what it is, but I mean, to us, it's like ridiculous. But what it's costing
Like,
us
they
They
won't
wanna
give
have-
you my damn $20, but they'll give your mom 1 penny.
Yeah, I feel like
Um,
you should sue the government. Like honestly.
We should.
I think so. Be like, yeah, go ahead.
Class
Why
action
don't we-
lawsuit. Let's do it. Get it started here on Shadow Pack Squares. Okay. Speaking of which, let's go
I've
ahead and
always
get
had my
started.
money back. I'm just saying, I've got all my money back every single time. But then again, I've always had taxes over $1,000 had to be paid back to me anyway.
So, are you saying you're not going to join our union? Our
I'll
lawsuit?
join the union. I just won't join the lawsuit.
He's like, I'm here for moral support.
Right. I'll hold the sign. How about that? Okay. So Sauce with the raid. What's up, Sauce?
Saucy boy!
Finish him.
Thank you for the raid, Sauce. Can we get a shout out for Sauce in the chat while we get started? Everybody that came over from Sauce's raid party, we appreciate you. Welcome to the Shadow Pack Gaming Twitch channel. We are the Shadow Pack Squares, and we are a review panel type of episode where each of us picks a certain topic to talk about. And today, Elf Daddy came at us with another foreign film, and we're gonna get started. Kamikaze Girls. So before we get started, let's go ahead and make some introductions. With me on the show here, we have Crimson over there on your far left. We got CrimsonShieldScholar. Let me use all your names. PotionsMaster 66 right here, right directly next to me. Diagonally down here is going to be Elf Daddy. And then we got
Hello.
Stealth Dad in the house as well. My name is SeanFlac 2.0. Individually, we are members of the Shadow Pack stream team. If you have any or if you want to know any more information about our stream team, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that in the chat. You go check out that chat or check out that link, and that'll bring you to ShadowPackGaming.com, where you can find profiles and interviews of us, a little bit more information about the team, and kind of like what we do. Also, you can follow us on Twitter. Go ahead and throw that in there. You got questions, comments, emotional outbursts about the show, us individually or whatnot. You can go ahead and follow us on Twitter, and you could talk to us there. Recently, we just joined up with Gamerize.com. They shouted out. They shouted us out today. Did you guys see that?
They did on the tweets.
On the tweets.
On the Twitter.
Yeah.
On the Twitter.
Gamerized.
Yeah. So Gamerize shouted us out. They enjoyed working with us. They said that our group was an inspiration to other people as well. So keep up the good work, Pack. But Gamerized.com is a social platform made for gamers by gamers. They're up and coming. We signed up with them. If you go ahead and hit that link right there, that'll take you to the Shadow Pack Gamerized game page. We also have a sign up affiliate link there, so if you want to sign up with them as well, it's free to do so. But again, we get your little accolade or whatever if you guys sign up with our link. Last but not least, we are part of the Tavern. So the Tavern is a community Discord that we partnered up with one of the streamers on of our team, Queen Lou. So she's the proprietor of the Tavern, and this is where if you want to join the Discord, you guys are in the Discords. That's our public Discord. You can sit there and chat with us, talk to us, get to know us outside the streams. And that's basically all I got. Am I missing anything? I feel like I haven't done this in a while.
No. It's been a week. You've done this for a while.
Website?
Yes.
Yes, I did the website.
I see the link.
I mean, if you want, you can throw in the Instagram too.
I don't got a command for that. Okay, I feel like I picked up everything.
Or Facebook.
Right.
I have Facebook.
That's the only thing I didn't hear, but it's because I was multitasking.
Okay.
You're all good.
Okay, so today's episode, we are going to be talking about Kamikaze Girls. Kamikaze Girls was a manga that they turned into a live action film is what we watched. We did a watch party yesterday. Unfortunately, I had to leave early due to some family stuff. My baby girl, she got sick, so daddy had to go do the dad thing. But this topic was brought to us, surprisingly enough, another foreign film, another subtitle film from good old Elf Daddy. So Elf, let's take it away. What you got? Why'd you bring it?
I picked it because honestly, it's one of my hidden interests. I love Lolita fashion, and I'm obsessed with the story. The story is just like so good. And I find it relatable too, because like I was mentioning, I feel like I'm a little bit of both characters, Momoko and Ichiko. But also, like, a lot of my friends that I end up making are just super weird like that too. Like, doesn't feel like it should fit in as well as it does.
Is that a dig at us?
I'm telling you, I took it that way. All my friends are kind of weird.
I
Like, wait a
love
minute.
you guys.
I'm your friend.
Yes, everyone is my friend. You're all my friends.
Okay, so before we get into any kind of trivia, plot, or anything like that, let's talk about first impressions. So, Elf, when's the first time you checked this out?
Oh, wow. It must be like, feels like forever ago. It's probably like 10, 12 years. I don't fucking know.
Okay. And
it might not have even been out that long, but I'm like, it feels like 10, 12 years.
okay. So did you watch it like when it first came out is what you're telling me?
Yep.
Okay. Crimson, what you got? When's the first time you checked out Kamikaze Girls?
Last night.
Really?
Yeah.
The way you were watching it, I thought you watched it before. You were like so giddy with it.
No, it's just my type of movie, man. Like, I admittedly have a blind spot when it comes to like non-Eurocentric art. So I don't really, unfortunately, pay that much attention to those spheres, especially back then. I've gotten more into it as I've gotten older and gotten into college and all that stuff. But like back then, I would have known nothing about it, and no one told me about it. So until Elf Daddy mentioned it the other day, and then I watched it, and it was awesome, I thought. So it was cool.
Okay. Potions, what you got? When's your first experience with Kamikaze Girls?
Last night, and I was about as lost as I was expecting to be, because it's one of those things where had I come across it in college when a lot more of my friends were into that and I was around it by default, I probably would have had a better experience with it. Not that I had a bad experience with it, it's just I was so confused. Um, because like I know me and Elf Daddy had talked about, we both really, really love Battle Royale, which seems the same type of over the top thing, but most of me last night was just going, why is it so shrieky and everything is just overblown? I just didn't get it that well.
Okay.
So it was entertaining for sure. And it was also incredibly entertaining to see everybody else's reactions around it too. So I was just like, huh. But
Okay.
yeah, so had I already known about it and watched it in college, I probably would have been like, oh yes, this is awesome. But now I'm just sitting there going,
All right, Stealth Dad, what you got? First impressions, or first time with the film. Tell us what you got.
Yesterday was my first time watching the film.
Okay.
It is one of those campy where they should have made an anime for it, not a live action, and they would have done better with it. Well, in my eyes, it would have done better as an anime than it would have as live action. It made me laugh. It had me confused. It was a good movie.
Okay. All right. So my first impression is just like all of you, except for Elf. That last night was the first time I watched it. Unfortunately, I couldn't pick up the rest of it because I did have to leave halfway through. But I was confused, but I did have to keep telling myself that it was made off of a manga. And I had to keep thinking to myself, like, oh, it's going to be over the top. Oh, it's going to do some weird stuff because they could get lost in their own head. So once I kept telling myself that, I was like, oh, okay, I could see it. I definitely was confused, and there were a bunch of things I was like, what is going on here? But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I seen. Yeah, so I'll just then I'll go into my final thoughts about it in the end. But yeah, it was my first time watching last night too, guys.
yeah.
Okay. So Elf, tell us about it. You got some initial trivia you want to talk about the movie, or maybe some
Okay.
kind of yeah. Oh, here we go.
I've got this.
Elf's like, yeah, I do.
First thing, I can answer the question of why everybody is so loud and shrieky, and it's because that's the Yankee type. Now, basically, they're like, I guess you'd call them more like thugs and gangsters because, like, the Yakuza is more the well-known, like, mafia type thing.
Yeah.
Yankee is basically like a delinquent style. And Asian culture tends to be more, like, orderly, quiet, like, minding your own business. And so they're considered troublemakers because they are so loud and they dress like not in a very like respectable
Conservative.
style way. So it's like like a stereotype that they're loud and flashy, like always.
Okay, now that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but also
Bless you.
Thank you.
but also one of my favorite things about this, and I had the pleasure of actually discussing it today. Baby the Stars Shine Bright. It's a Lolita brand, popular from Japan, and they have a sister brand called Alice and the Pirates, and both are like over the top, so cute. I love them, absolutely everything. Love it. Like I'm here for it. I had to admit I fanned out a little bit because I placed an order one time, and Akinori Sobu personally sent a letter, and I was like, oh my god, he knows I exist. This
Nice.
is the best day.
Okay.
But yeah,
So I have a question about that, Elf. Is the person that played him in the film him, or was it an actor?
it's an actor, but you will find that if you Google his name, you'll see he does a lot of promotional imaging for the company. So he poses with the models a lot too. And supposedly his wife is like super sweet.
So for
Awesome.
so for the viewers out there, you said Lolita style. What can you explain that? Because we don't have visuals here. So
Okay, so I want to start by clarifying this Lolita style has nothing to do with the Nabokov novel, which I guess has something to do with like stylizing an underage relationship.
Yep.
And so a
Got
lot
it.
of people
Yep.
a lot of people
Absolutely.
get into the fashion like this has something to do with like children, doesn't it? And they're like, no, it's a French thing, like French influenced, like Victorian, not so much Edwardian, Rococo, you know.
It is
Influence?
infantilizing.
Tantalizing.
That I could say would be more like a sweet Lolita style. There are more mature styles like classic Lolita, and then of course gothic Lolita, aristocratic Lolita. There's OG style, which is Prince style, like a boy Lolita, and then there's like elegant goth Lolita, which is the female version of like a more mature and elegant goth aristocrat, which is like men's version.
So I mean, if for somebody that doesn't know what it is, how would you describe it?
Baby doll
Lots
fashion.
lots of lace, petticoats, frills, head bows, like head to toe kind of thing.
Marie Antoinette.
Exactly.
And Louis the 16th.
Okay, I think people can get visuals with those.
Yep, if you think about the French sun court, that's essentially what Rococo style is. The white powdered faces, the really red rosy cheeks, the really heavy intense eyeshadow, the big wigs, and then the lace and big poofy dresses.
Oh, also the community is great. Like you have like the positive supportive community, and then you have like the elitist community who's like, your cohort is trash. Wow. Like, those shoes don't go with that style. Why are you wearing them with that dress? That's terrible, and you should feel bad.
Oh man.
Wow. Okay.
Like any
it
fandom.
Intense.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's, I guess, get right into the film here. So just to go over some production notes that I just pulled off of
IMDb or Wikipedia?
Wikipedia, that's it. Which, all Wikipedia, you got to take it with a grain of salt. So I'm going to go ahead and, where are we? Live action film. Okay. So the live action film was it 2004? 2004. No, that was a manga. Yeah, so May 29, 2004, Kamikaze Girls debuted at number 4 in its opening weekend behind Crimson River 2, Troy, Crying Out for Love in the Center of the World.
That one was good too.
There's a citation needed for that, so again...
we can look it up.
Yeah, grain of salt. Really what I thought was pretty interesting as far as this is they got like a lot of awards for it. And I'm looking at the film like, really? But they did get a lot of awards for it, according to this again, because I read it last night. I think she got Best Actress. So it got Kamikaze Girls was awarded Best Film, Best Director, Best Actress, and 2 other awards at the 26th Yokohama Film Festival. Also won Best Film and Best Director for the 14th Japan Film Professional Awards. And Anna, how do I say this name? Tsuchiya was named Best New Actress at the awards of Japanese Academy and the Blue Ribbon Awards and the Hochi Film Awards for her performance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So let's see here. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 62% based on 29 reviews, and the average rating is 6.1 out of 10. And then Kamikaze Girls as a film received a mixed or average reviews according to Metacritic. Anything you guys want to add?
Metacritic is average.
I've heard that before. Anything you want to add with that, Elf?
The movie is amazing and it slaps, and the poor cabbage guy. Like, I felt bad for the cabbage guy.
That was hilarious. Okay. So why don't we get into the plot? Who wants to get started?
Elf, you want to start?
Sure. Okay, so the film starts with what seems to be like the end. Like, Momoko's on a motorcycle. Well, actually, not really a motorcycle.
No.
More like a moped.
A Vespa.
Yeah, it's more like a Vespa.
A souped-up Vespa.
It's a scooter. And she hits a cabbage cart. It sounds like she's going to die. And she's talking about how she wishes she was from the Rococo period. And, basically how her life wasn't anything like she wanted it to be. And then it flashes back to her parents, and she explains like her dad was Yakuza or was trying to be, but he
Right.
was really shit at it. So he went into like making knockoff clothes, and he met his mom like hurling in an alleyway outside of a like bar. And like she projectile vomited and everything, and they were like still like, yeah, let's do this.
It definitely started the film off with a bang.
Ah.
I see what you did there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
And her mom is like super irresponsible, like
so this is all about flashbacks. So I guess there was a big montage about the Rococo period. That's immediately where I got lost because I didn't know how the Japanese culture and where they were even related to this. I think Crimson, you had to explain it while we are watching it. I'm like, what's going on here? But the whole French influence that you guys had explained. But there's a big montage, and then how she wished she was there, and how, but she wasn't, and she was in whatever prefecture of Japan, and she was stepping in cow shit. And
she's from Shimatsuma. She's out in the boonies. She's as boonies as it gets.
Right.
Like tiny town.
Yeah, so
it's basically the farm town, and it has basically a Tesco or a Walmart is the only place to buy clothes.
Right.
And it's a 2-hour train ride from Tokyo. So she's like, I want to be in France in the 17th century because that would be a lot better and the time period that I should have been born in.
Right.
But instead, I'm born here, and this is the shit I have to deal with.
And I got shit on my shoe.
Right.
So you stepped in shit.
Yeah, so this is again where I'm like, okay, so she has this Lolita fashion thing, and she's walking down the street, and has her little umbrella, and I'm immediately lost. Like, why does all of this? And then, if you guys have not seen the film, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it really felt. I don't know if you guys seen the film, the Toxic Avengers. It really felt.
Oh my god, Toxic Avengers. Yes.
But like the way they did the film really felt like that for me. I was just like, and then. She goes into like breaking like the fourth wall, right? Because she's talking to you as a viewer, like this is who I am, and oh yeah, this is what's going on. And so there was a big montage before we got into the whole, mom and dad finding each other on the outside. Like dad apparently was supposed to be Yakuza, and then he was about to go with his partner to go rob somebody, but then. What ends up happening there? The dude gets shot?
Buddy shot somebody, and he was like, I don't have it in me. Nope, I'm good.
Right. And
he ran away.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't murder somebody. Bye-bye.
Right. And I want to say this is when, I guess he got denounced or whatever, and he found himself drunk in the alley, and that's when, good old mom pops out, and she does the projectile vomit. And in this scene, obviously and this is where you're like, this is way over the top. And this is the very first time I was like, this is a manga. I have to think about it. This is a manga. And so then you see the animation.
That's what I'm saying is it would do better as an anime than instead of live action.
This anime, I would watch the hell out of that.
Oh yeah,
it made more sense to me with an anime, but I think that because part of it was live action, I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You're trying to fit an anime into a live action movie. That it should be a live action movie, but it should be an anime, but you're not connecting the pieces.
Right, because that's when they did this animation. They did this weird special effect thing where the mom looks at him and her heart lights up, and then he looks at her and he gets like lightning penis.
Yeah, and then it made
right, yes.
And
it was their attraction to one another.
Right,
right,
and then
such deep symbolism there.
And
absolutely is.
And then we get the what is that
Does it cut to the birth?
Yeah, right. I was just gonna say that we cut into the what is that canal called? The birthing canal.
The birth canal.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. The birth canal shot.
The shape in the opening one.
Right. Yeah. And you just get popped out,
and there was a light, and she went towards the light.
Right. I mean, I was just like, oh my god, what am I watching? I just watched myself get birthed. I mean, what is this?
Yep.
So yes, and then we do get to that point where mom is being irresponsible, and I thought this was a hilarious part of the movie. But she's like, "Oh yeah, your new dad and your new grandma," and then that's
Your
when
new grandparents are desperate to see you. Are they really? No.
right, right, and then she goes, "I'm gonna go live with my dad." And
So mom and dad, we kind of skipped that. Mom
Okay,
and
go
dad
ahead.
separate,
oh yes,
and then
Yeah,
they
because
divorced.
she's about to cheat on him like right in the middle of giving birth.
oh
Right.
right,
With the
oh,
doctor.
with the
we don't find that
gynecologist.
out until later. But yeah, but yeah. So she's like born and she's a kid, and she's talking about how she never had any emotions or any feelings as a child.
Oh,
Or as an adult, but that was pretty much the point of that, is that she never felt anything.
Right.
And then mom and dad got separated. She was saying basically mom's worthless.
Also
Dad's
get
more
plastic surgery and go into
Very
modeling.
happy film.
She kept saying her
mom,
dad was useless too, right?
yeah.
Yep.
She
But,
thinks
but
both her
dad
parents
is
are
more
useless.
fun, which is why she decided to live with dad.
Right.
But then mom sends dad divorce papers and he gets really upset. But then she goes and visits her mom, and her mom's like, "Oh, I have your new dad and your new grandparents." And then the child is basically acting like the adult in this situation and being like, "Go use the money that you have and go make yourself beautiful.
All right.
Like,
Right.
like go get some new boobs and
it
like
boobs and
right.
it fix your face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And join a beauty contest.
Yep.
So
And then she pats her hand and then she leaves, and the mom runs after her and is like, "What do you mean? Like, I love you." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, bye."
right. And then we skip to the scene where she's living with dad, and here goes some more crazy special effects. But he like farts on her a
He
couple
farts
times.
all over the place.
Right. I'm like, okay, all right, I can see. And this is all just background of Momoko, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when
She's introducing you to her life.
right.
Oh,
yeah.
and grandma.
Oh yeah.
And grandma.
Yeah.
But dad is broke. So dad needs a way to start making money, and he basically has a market stall and has a space to sell and market and just keeps changing what he's selling. And one of the things he tried to do was sell knockoff t-shirts. So he sold Versace.
Yes,
Versace
Versace.
and Universal.
No. It's beep.
Right, which
Yeah,
was
and then
which was interesting because, and we couldn't figure it out, or at least we couldn't figure it out by the time I had to leave.
We don't know
But
what the swear word
They
is.
kept bleeping out like Versace or parts of Universal, so you knew what it was.
I think it was supposed to like imply that it's like brand and they can't talk about brand.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
I did extensive research on it, and that's the closest that I could find, is that it was kind of a parody of being like, it's the brand, right? Like, he's selling good knockoffs, even though it's bad knockoffs. So that was
Bad.
kind of supposed to be that kind of thing there. So
Okay, so who wants to take it away? We're now at Versace.
and then my favorite part of the film, so we'll talk about this, is
Okay.
when the executives from Universal Production, was it? What was it? Universal
Right.
Stadium?
Studio, movie
Japan? I think.
No, I think it was Stadium. It was
I
Stadium.
think it was Stadium. Yeah, Universal Stadium Japan as opposed to Universal Studios Japan, which is hilarious. And they were just like, "Oh yeah, so this is open and these are great and they're super popular." So the dad was like, "Okay, I'll sell those too."
Right.
And sold the knockoff T-shirts from Universal, which I thought was hilarious.
So
I'll take it away.
So now they're Universal Stadium Versace.
Yeah, it was like trying to say, "Hey, I have an eye for this sort of stuff." And they're like, "No, get out of here." And they're like, "Oh, Universal and Versace are gonna sue."
which he started making a lot of money because people start buying his stuff. And let's not forget that Momoko, I don't know when she developed it. Wasn't she? Did she say she was 13 or something like that when she first
Something like
saw Baby? And then it like, so she shoots herself and says, "Oh, at that point I died and became a different person." And then she had this whole Lolita fashion addiction, which I
Also,
thought.
she eats bowls of competo, which is like a sugary candy.
Mhm.
Instead of like eating cereal, she just eats bowls of candy because she wants to experience like the sweet, opulent sort of lifestyle as opposed to like the backwoods country shit that she deals with.
there's a lot of mental stuff going on here. Okay, so
Yeah,
It's a very deep film if you get into it.
right.
It is.
Everybody's always like, I was born in the wrong generation though, and this is like that.
Right. So she has this addiction, right? Of
But
this.
it's also like the opposite of her hard life, right? She has a hard farming life in the middle of nowhere, so she goes the complete opposite end of that, which is sweet and cute and cuddly and nothing ever terrible happens.
Right.
Which a
I like
psychologist
grandma.
could say is a result of her parents, but that's fine. So she goes to Tokyo, and that's when we first see the baby, the Stars Shine Bright shop. And we get to see how it's gorgeous and over the top and Lolita and filled with frills and lace and cute things. And then it's a little montage of her basically talking about her addiction to shopping and the Lolita style. And if you are familiar with the brand, it's very expensive, and I'm assuming it's not much less expensive in Japan. So she basically lies to her dad and makes up a bunch of stories about her friends who have terminal illnesses, or like their parents have terminal illnesses, and is like, so and so needs help, please give them money. And so her dad would give her a bunch of money, and then she would just spend it on clothes.
Right. Right. And we had to figure it out. It's like, is this her dad, or is she like hustling people, or like what's going on here? Come to find out, it is her dad. And then we get to that point where she's living with grandma, dad, and grandma, and then she puts she finds that selling the fake knockoffs is actually going to be lucrative for her, so she puts an ad in the newspaper or whatever and says, "Oh, come get your Versace or whatever." And this is so she's sitting out in the front of her farmhouse or whatever, and this is when we get introduced to the second character, right?
Oh wait, no, she gets the letter first, and it's written like so badly she thinks it's a child coming to pick up the stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess.
And it's like a high schooler on a motorbike.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really funny.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but
not.
basically, her dad
It's like
is not
another.
broke. Her
It's like
dad
another
is.
Vespa.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was saying it's like another Vespa in response to the motorbike.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
right.
her
All
Vespa
the-
has a flag.
Oh, and it has a
Yeah.
crazy seat. Like it's crazy.
But go back a little bit. Her dad is now broke, and so she has to like, I need fun. I need to fund my lifestyle still. But I don't want to work. I'm gonna do that.
Then she
That's
opens
the
the
actual
cases.
question everybody wants an answer to.
Yeah, she opens
Exactly.
the closet and sees that all this merch is left over from her dad's old stall, and she's like, I wonder. And then puts the ad in the paper, and then she gets a notice that somebody's coming to buy one of the jackets, and she's like, Elf said, thought it was a child, and it turns out to be
Ichiko.
Ichigo.
Go.
Ichigo.
And they're bartering, and how much is this? 2? Okay.
Well, y'all were
Pretty
funny.
bad
You were
because
like,
she
2
thinks
yen?
it's
I was like, no,
undervaluable.
not
Right.
2 yen.
She started at
She's
2.
gonna charge her 2,000.
I'll pay 20,000. Oh,
And she
okay.
wants
Yeah,
to give
this-
her
Wait, I almost said
200,000
yes.
yen.
Right, because then she was like,
But
well, 2,000,
it's a fake.
200,000, 20,000. It was like they couldn't figure it out, right? But
Well, it's more of Momoko couldn't figure out what to sell it for because it's a fake knockoff. She didn't want to rip off the person. And then Ichiko's like, I don't care. Here.
It's a Versace. And Momoko's like, it's a fake Versace. And she's like, but it's
But
a
it's a
Versace.
good fake.
right.
It's a really
Better
good
if it's
fake.
fake. It's still Versace.
Yeah. Which is really funny. So then they make that exchange.
Eh.
Hey, Natalie.
Hi,
Natalie.
Hi, baby.
And basically, this is when you realize that Ichigo and Momoko are completely opposite, because like Ichigo rides on a moped and has a jacket and pants and like
And
regular
shoes.
shoes and dark makeup and colored hair. I think she has colored hair.
I thought it was red.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she had black hair earlier when she like before her Yankee days. So
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, so she's just very different, and she shows up, and I think is the first time when she shows up, is that when she spits?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Multiple
like, don't do
times.
that.
Why?
It's that again. Okay.
And so basically, she is a Yankee and completely opposite of Lolita. And so you just kind of see the yin and yang of that together about how they're completely different.
Right, and it took me a while to figure out what Yankee
Ichigo
meant.
likes to headbutt people.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Right, and
like, oh look, it's me. I'm a Yankee,
He's a
and
straight
I also
Yankee.
like headbutting.
right, and so just kind of like what you had said earlier, Yankee is actually a reference to troublemaker, and in my experience of Yankee, I was like, American? Like, I mean, what?
Right.
What do you mean by Yankee? And so, yeah, it was clarified that Yankee was the terminology for troublemaker.
I'm literally an American Yankee, so I'm sitting there going, I don't know if I find this offensive or not.
Right.
Also, you live in the country, so it's best of both worlds.
Right. Right. Okay, so now we get introduced to Ichigo, and then they start having this exchange back and forth. And this is where I kind of was almost tuned out because, I had the kid thing going on, so does somebody else want to take it away?
Yeah, so Ichigo keeps coming around and basically keeps buying stuff from Momoko. But also you can tell that Ichigo kind of wanted to be friends with Momoko a little bit. Like, obviously she wants some sort of female companionship that she isn't getting with the other members of her bike gang. And you do find out that she is in a all-girl bike gang. Or moped gang, because they're not really motorcycles. But they all are all Yankees. Yeah. And then there's a really cool scene.
Drugs.
Without the
yeah,
drugs.
they
Right?
don't
No
do
drugs
drugs.
and no
Not
prostitution.
drugs.
You cannot be a loose girl and be in the bike gang.
Right.
Wait, good. Alfred, you're gonna say something?
Oh, no drugs, no loose women.
Right, exactly. Totally. And then we have the cool scene in the cafe where Momoko learns about Ichigo's life and like background, and that's when the audience learns it too. And it's more breaking the fourth wall manga style, where she's like, "This conversation took an hour, but I'm gonna summarize it for you."
Right.
And then they do like a cutaway to who Ichigo is and how she got involved in gang life. And you find out that she was a loner. She had no friends. She was always weird.
She got bullied.
Her parents.
She plays piano.
Yeah, she plays piano. Her parents were very much like focused on like school and creative stuff and kind of being the traditional like stereotypical Asian family. And so she got bullied in school because of that. And one time she got really mad at what her family is basically making her do. It's like, this isn't the life I want. So she ran away without anything.
Stole a bike.
Right. With a real bike, not a motorized bike.
A bicycle with a
basket.
basket.
Yeah, an actual bicycle. And she just was like, I didn't know where I was going, but I just decided to run away. And she didn't have any like clothes or food or money or anything.
She was in her pajamas.
Why?
She was in her pajamas. So she rides and then ultimately gets a flat tire, though that happens off screen, but then it comes on screen and you see that the bike has a flat tire. And she's on an overpass and just crying in the world. And that's when
she's walking on the road, and then all of a sudden all the motorcycles, motorbikes come streaming down the road.
Now, was this her gang or was this another gang? Because
it's the same gang
This is
she
where
was
we
in before she joined.
Okay, got it.
She's
This is where we
explaining
meet
why the
Himiko.
leader Akemi was like her hero basically because she stopped and gave her advice.
Potions.
So Akemi, she's like, Momoko asked her why Akemi is so important to her, and she's like, because she looked at me and she told me
Potions.
what life is like as a woman. You cannot cry unless you are alone. And so then from that point on, she was like, I'm going to follow this woman wherever she goes. And that's basically what got her to join the gang eventually and become a Yankee. And this is also predicated on the fact that they all wear jackets, kimono kind of things, but more jackets because they don't tie.
Right.
Dusters, that's the word I'm looking for. And they're all embroidered. and Ichigo wants to have Kimi's name embroidered on her jacket, and just say thank you, Akimi. And there's this world famous embroiderer, Emma, who Ichigo wants to embroider it because she's the best embroiderer in all of Japan. I don't know.
So at one point skip over the whole gambling arcade
not yet.
thing? Okay, we're not there
yet.
Not there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you.
No, but remember, thank you, Himiki is lame. It doesn't look cool.
Oh, that's right. Because isn't that what Momoko told her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you have the story of Elf. I don't remember her name. Hiriko.
Himiko. The legendary. Legendary
Himiko. And that's basically why Emma is considered such the best embroiderer, because she embroidered a golden dragon on Himiko's jacket, and Himiko's the best person that ever existed. Now, no, is this when this happens? Is this when it cuts to the anime?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is when it goes into the Gorillaz music video. Right.
Yeah, it looks like Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls.
Right, because that's how they tell her story, right? How she became
Himiko's story, yeah.
Yeah, how she became the best biker gang leader or whatever, and how did the Yakuza get into that? The Yakuza was messing with one of the girls.
Yeah, they were messing with the girls, and then Himiko kicked their ass and booted all the Yakuza gangs out and formed a girl biker gang.
Out of that territory where they're at.
Yeah, but
not the entire island.
But didn't she go in there kill the whole Yakuza guys and then disappear? Is that how that?
Yeah. Basically, she saved the day and then she disappeared. Rode off into the sunset. No one's seen her.
Like Zoro.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Nobody knows the day.
And we're really underplaying it, but it was a very interesting music video, and it probably went for a good, or not music video, but animated cutscene
section.
Right. And I want to say, minutes, I think. I thought it was 5 minutes. It felt very long. I was just okay.
It was probably a good 3 to 4 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. Yeah, it kept going. I thought it was going to end, and then it kept going. No. I was like, oh, okay.
Right. You're right. Yeah. Budgetary. They couldn't pay the people to act, I guess. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so then that's how you get the story of Himiko's and why she was so great.
And why Emma, the embroiderer, is so important to Ichigo, about why that's the particular person that she wants to use. And then Momoko is okay, fine. Even if you do find her, how are you going to pay her? And then, because Ichigo, it's implied that her family's very poor. So she's like, well, we can gamble. Let's go.
Right.
Oh my. Pachinko time.
Ichiko's terrible at pachinko, but Momoko is godly for some reason.
Okay, so let's talk about that for folks that don't know what pachinko is. Can anybody explain what it is?
No, I cannot.
So it looks like a giant pinball machine, right? And they put in balls. So you go into the place, you give them money, and they give you balls. And these little steel balls are like slot machine because you can't gamble. But if you're buying the balls, it's just like you're buying raffle tickets, right? And they use the balls to put them in there. And I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a giant pinball machine.
Ball bearing.
Yeah, the best thing that I could.
It's basically sort of like a pinball machine, but with gambling.
It's not Plinko.
It kind of is like Plinko because it depends on where
the ball lands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a slot machine, but in Japan they're really famous and big, and people go in there, they smoke and stealth's looking it up.
It's
Pause
a vertical.
Pachinko. It is a mechanical game originating in Japan. Let's see.
So there are so what it is there's like a bunch of little pins,
There we go.
kind of like a Plinko board, and then there are little like plastic cups, and you have to try to get the ball to land into the specific cup. And then
Okay,
it
so
can land at the bottom if it doesn't. And then
Okay.
so depending on where or what cup it lands in and where it catches is how much you make because of it. But there are also flippers at the bottom, like a pinball machine. So if you miss the bottom and it has a little thing, you can try to flip it up and try to like get it back into the cup. They have them at like
Yeah.
Dave & Buster's and different arcade games around here.
The object of the game is to capture as many balls as possible. Then the balls can be exchanged for prizes.
Right. So it's again just like Dave & Buster's essentially, but instead of getting tickets, you get more balls to either play with, or you can exchange the balls at the counter for prizes.
Right. Okay. So just if nobody knew what that was, we got a good explanation of it. Okay. So Ichigo's trash at it, and Momoko, she's so
It's really
good.
funny because she like
God
puts her
tier.
face like
So-
up against the glass, trying to like get better at it and like trying to see like where it'll fall, and it's just like,
Right.
no man.
So,
you're
real
bad at
quick,
it.
and in 2015, the pachinko market generates more gambling revenue than that of Las Vegas, Macau, and Singapore combined.
Wow.
Dang.
If you've never played it, it's stupidly addictive. They have them in Hawaii.
Mhm.
If you ever
Mhm.
go.
I want to play pachinko.
And also, the Yakuza used it for money laundering and racketeering.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy racket for them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay.
So
Uh,
then comes the one part of the movie that I was concerned about. Every other part of the movie, I was like, this is whatever, it's fine.
Oh my god. So okay. Let's,
Okay, first,
so
two key
Momoko's
things.
a
Okay,
god.
so you have like the first you have like the pit boss you have in Vegas, turn around saying, "Hey, you're cheating the system,"
Right.
and then you got the manager of the club coming over saying, "Let me search you for how you're cheating. How are you doing this?" They're
then
going back and forth.
in
They're
comes
fighting. You're saying, "Oh, you're underage," no, blah blah blah. And then we have this
Phallic.
giant hairdo.
But
We
it's a
have this-
phallic symbol, is what I'm gonna say. It's a
We have
phallic
this
symbol.
phallic
does kinda look
hairdo.
like a dick on
Looks
the
like
side.
a
It's
giant
impressive.
penis.
Oh my god! I was like, "What are we watching? What is this?"
You know, I never
This is-
noticed it before, but this time immediately when I saw his hair, I was like, that looks like a dick.
it does.
It's
No, it's
very specifically like the shape, the curvature.
Well, the reason
width,
why, right?
curve,
Well,
the
because you
It
length.
forgot,
curves around the
Exactly looks
corner.
like
right? Well, because
All
you
you
forget, you forget,
all
like the
you see is
manager
the tip.
gropes the lady,
Just the
like
tip.
but she gropes, like he's like, "Oh, let me search you," and like grabs her and
It's like
gropes
as soon
her.
as he grabs her, we have a dick.
Right. So everybody's like, "What?" And I'm sitting here like, "What are we watching?" And it wasn't just a tip. It was like,
I
Well,
was
it's
like,
like just a
five
tip.
inches.
that's just the tip, and then it kept going and going and going and going.
It was
So it's
like,
like, what the
Right,
hell
so-
is all the tear?
right.
like, dude, this is both impressive and terrifying. What are we watching? Oh, his hair. Okay, that's fine.
Because it was a quick cut at first, and it was round, and like she said, it was curved, and it was brown, and it was like kind of hairy. And you're just like, what
It
is
was
this?
perfectly phallically shaped.
Right. And it was like, was this the pit boss's, genitals erecting? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how to
Damn, Pit Boss, what are you doing?
Right. That's what everybody was like, what is
Like
this?
I think everyone in the stream, while we're watching, I think we're all like,
Very concerned.
Just like, wait a minute.
Is this gonna take a turn? No? Okay. So then it turns out to be the guy's hair, and he basically is
It's
a very
Jay Sosa.
extended,
Thank you for the follow.
Woo! Very extended version of like Elvis Presley's coif. So it's like really like big in the front. But as we were all clearly described, it was very phallic.
Oh,
So it
man.
extended
They call it a
to the
pompadour.
Oh, yeah. It's like a
it
pop.
is a pompadour.
Yeah, like,
But the way they have it in the
Definitely
movie,
that.
right. But it was like this. It was like literally like his palm. And then he would like, and he would like, people had to
and
like
even had
move.
prop for us.
Right. I was just like, what is going on here, guys? What am I watching? Okay.
Yep. So anyway, so
what's Pompadour's name? Did we get his name?
Hiroto?
Yes, we did. I just don't
Hirotaro?
remember it.
Let me look up.
Ryuji?
I think it's Hirotaro.
Hirotaro. Let's see here. Pompadour.
You're a Taro.
No, you
We're
are.
all Taros.
You are.
I'm very certain it's
Hirotaro Honda
Yeah.
as the Yakuza boss.
And you don't right, but you don't know he's Yakuza at the moment. You
Right.
just think that he's a random citizen.
Or
And
Yankee.
it kept referring to like, oh, this is Osaki's song. What?
Right? Like, oh, I know this song. This is a good song.
I love this song. It's a great song.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that was her lucky song because it was playing. So you had to play Pachinko. It's the lucky Pachinko song.
Mm.
So then
She's
he
not
comes
lucky.
in and he saves them, and he basically tells the pit boss and the club manager, or the Pachinko manager, to be like, they're fine, and it's your fault for not catching them earlier, even if they were cheating. So give them the money that they're owed.
Oh yeah, and Ichigo's like, this is my mom.
Oh yeah, right. She's like,
She might look
and
like she's 12,
she's
but
20.
she's
Then she's
40.
30. Then she's 40. And then she's my mom. And just like, wow.
Like, stop helping.
Right.
And Momoko couldn't get into it. She's like, what? What?
To 40.
Right.
He wanted to argue, but then it's like, no, I better not.
Yeah, let me not
Right.
make things worse.
Yeah. So it's really funny. Then they go to the parlor. Oh, and then they talk. And basically, Momoko tells Ichigo that she's in love with the Yakuza guy. And she's like, no, I'm not. It's like, yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, they are. Yes, you are. And then she's like, oh, wait, is this what love is? Maybe I am in love with him.
So to clear, Momoko told Ichigo that Ichigo was in love with Pompadour.
With Honda.
Right, okay.
Yeah. With Hirotaro.
With the penis hair man.
With penis hair man. And Ichigo is like, no, I'm not. Momoko said, yes, you are. And they go back and forth for a while. And then all of a sudden Ichigo's like, wait, is this what love is like? Maybe I am in love with him. Throughout this whole exchange, like, there's also interspersed with them going back to grandma's house, and her dad is now selling a Margaret stall with water balloons, which is interesting.
Oh, right. That was funny.
And let's not forget, Grandma used to be like a really, really skilled fighter, and just randomly
first,
and grabs butterflies out of the air.
Oh, right. She's pulling.
And later on, we're gonna
Miyagi.
see her grab a dragonfly out of the air and like shove it right in her robe or
and then tucks it in her pocket.
Grandma is always there, and she has an eye patch. She only walks around by squats, essentially. And yeah, she basically does Karate Kid moves, and is really awesome. And she's great. The moth is kind of interesting because it tells you that there are bugs around, and that plays into actually what I was next going to say. Is Momoko's bonnet, one of the bonnets she wore, got eaten by moths and had tiny little holes in it. And she screams, she's like, oh my god! But what you figure out is that she's also a really skilled embroiderer. So she fixes the holes by creating flowers and embroiders flowers, like, and covering the holes with it, which is really gorgeous. And the next time they go to, I can never tell if it was Tokyo or Osaka because they said both. But so wherever.
I think Tokyo.
Okay. They go to the Baby Be Mine Stars Bright Shine Bright store.
Shine Bright.
And the shop store clerk was like, "Wait, that's our bonnet, but that's not our bonnet." And she's like, "Oh yeah, I got eaten by moths, so I embroidered it." Momoko said that. And then the shopkeep was like, "Oh my gosh, you're really talented." And then calls over the owner, head designer, owner, person. I can't remember his name.
Osa? Isubi?
Ichigo?
No, Ichigo is the girl. Is also Ichiko.
Akinori Isobe.
Yep, there you go.
He signed my package. I'm so happy.
So he comes over and he's like, "Wow, you're really talented." Momoko faints because he talked to her and told her that she was really talented. And then Ichigo got really mad or concerned and was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?" and punches him, which I think is really funny.
And this is where I left after this, right? Because I want to, or before that happened. Because the last thing I remember was the embroidery.
Gotcha. Yeah. So he was like, "What did you do? What did you do to my friend?" And he was like, "I didn't do anything." And then she punched him, and then they leave the store, and then she faints again, and it's just so funny. She's very dramatic, if you couldn't tell.
Right, but she's emotionless.
Right.
Right.
Right. So then they become friends. Essentially, they hang out some more. And they go to school, they hang out. We kind of find out more about Momoko and about how she eats sugar for lunch while everyone else is eating regular things and how she wants to be unique. And I think the next big plot point that happens is the gang meeting where Kimi tells the gang that she's leaving them, essentially, or that she's joining them in with another bigger gang, and that she's dating Honda, and that she's pregnant.
Pompadour.
Yes. So that breaks Ichigo's heart, and Ichigo is like, "Oh my god, but I loved you."
Right. Apparently, she had fell in love with Honda. Right. Apparently, she didn't know what love was.
Right.
And
so she got really sad and was like, "Oh my gosh, I have a broken heart.
I must leave my gang."
Yeah. And then so Ichigo says that I'm going to leave the gang because I can't handle being part of them anymore. I don't like the direction that it's going in. I don't like the fact that Akemi is with the guy that I loved. And also she's like, Momoko doesn't need anybody and I just need her. So she accepts a challenge from the gang in order to leave them. But we don't really know that. And then Momoko gets a call. Oh, before this, they decide to go to Tokyo to search out Emma. Completely forgot about that. The embroidery. And so they go and they search Tokyo, and they're just like looking for Emma. They can't really find her. They go to the baby stars shine so bright. Baby shine bright? Stars shine bright. Oh, I got it right.
The stars shine bright.
The stars shine bright. And he tells her that she has an embroidery issue, that a dress showed up unembroidered. And he's like, and you're the only one who can do it.
What?
You're the only one whose talent I trust. And she's like, she's like, no, I can't. And then she thinks about it. She's like, well, maybe I can. So she takes that dress. Emma, they look for Emma. They can't find Emma. Then Ichigo finds a person that she really likes, like a celebrity or a director or somebody, and she basically drags Momoko across the street. Momoko drops her outfits, her dresses, and she's like, uh-oh. And so she decides to decide where she goes, and she decides to go back and get her dresses, and just sits there for a really long time, for like hours. And she's like, Ichigo, where were you? She's like, I saw this guy, and he was like a famous person. And she's like, and he was buying his food, and then he warmed up his food. It was so stupid. Anyway. So then they get mad. They get
relatable.
Yeah, hashtag relatable. And then they kind of got into a tiff with one another because Momoko's like, why would you leave me for that? Sitting here for hours. And Ichigo's like, because it's cool. And then, yeah, they get into an argument. And then Ichigo takes the train. Momoko takes the train separately. They meet at like the train station in their hometown. It's raining, so they're both sitting inside. They talk a little bit, and then Momoko offers to embroider Ichigo's jacket. And it's like, well, we couldn't find Emma, but what if I did it? And she's like, what? It's like, yeah, what if I did it? It's like, okay. So she embroiders her jacket. It's a really well done. During their trip to Tokyo, Momoko actually tells Ichigo that one of the characters is wrong on her jacket, which I thought was hilarious. It's like, that's the wrong kanji. She's like, what? We all have this.
Did they?
Yeah, that's the funniest part about it all.
Like, did they figure out what that kanji meant or whatever? Like, why it was wrong?
They just wrote the wrong thing.
Okay, I didn't know if it like.
You're supposed to
It's
say
like
golden
tattoos.
dragon, but I forget what it actually said.
Was like.
It's like tattoos. You gotta double check the spelling, aka kanji symbol in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He
just
goes
funny
back
because
to
like.
Moonchild with the it says ninja. He's like it says kitchen.
Right, exactly. I was just gonna say that. Like, do they really mess that up? It's supposed to say dragon, but it really means like mongoose or something like that.
Yeah, something
Cracks
like
me
that.
up that this is the second Asian foreign film we watched that makes fun of misspellings and stuff in their own language again.
Well, in
it's
movie.
so-
Hey, this supposed to say angel, but you spelled it angle.
Oh God, that's always a classic.
Or also
So,
Rogue and Rouge
Nice.
drives me bananas.
Rogue or Rouge?
Yeah.
Hey,
Rouge, Rouge,
I would say
Rogue.
Rouge.
And if you play D&D a lot, you see a lot of people misspell rogue as Rouge.
Oh.
Yep.
The Rouge is
It's-
attacking.
If
Oh,
it-
really? Red is attacking? Oh,
Right.
it's really
the
scary.
makeup is attacking.
Blusher,
This is
because my
gold.
grandmother would call her blush rouge. She'd go, oh, you gotta rouge your cheeks.
Yeah, except in
That's a
D&D,
throwback
like,
from
it feels
30.
more like you gotta stab somebody in the cheeks instead of putting the rouge on.
Yeah.
It's like, are we talking makeup or are we talking ninjas here? What are we doing?
Right. Okay, back to it.
Okay,
Rouge.
Maybe.
so Momoko embroiders it, spends like all night doing it, all day, like 3 nights. That's it.
Yeah,
She's-
she
yeah.
does not sleep for 3 days, and she's sewing.
And then gives it to Ichigo, and Ichigo's like, oh my god, it's amazing! And then goes to her parade. That's right, because that's when we have the parade. And the parade is like them all riding their mopeds down the street. And that's when Akemi makes the announcement that she's merging the gang with somebody else, that she's engaged to Honda, and that they're pregnant. And Momoko doesn't really care. She's just like, I'm just sleeping.
Right.
Then she gets the call about the embroidery, or goes downtown to Baby the Star Shone Bright, says this dress came in without the flower embroidery. Can you embroider the flowers? And she's like, I guess, sure.
Dude, that scene was kind of interesting because she was like, I could do this, you see the design, I could do this, I could do this, which some people can do just naturally.
Yep. Yeah, that's what being a designer is like. So she was like, wasn't going to do it. And then she's like, wait, I see the designs. And she's like, well, I could do this, could do this, and could do this. And the guy's like, here, just take it, just do it.
It's like, can you do this?
So then Ichigo was like, I'm going to leave the gang because I don't like the direction that Akemi is leaving it. Gets offered the challenge, and they go out to dinner, Ichigo and Momoko. And Momoko overhears Ichigo talking about a challenge. And she's like, what's the challenge? She's like, oh, don't worry about it. So then Ichigo goes. Momoko is like, Dad, because, he used to be former Yakuza, or maybe former Yakuza. What's a challenge? And he takes great pleasure in telling her that challenges are how you get out of gangs, but that it's very violent. How they'll be dragged behind bicycles, how they'll be punched or kicked or hit with like metal bats, or
And
if
they'll
they're
cut
a
her
woman.
face with lasers, so
Right,
she'll
if you're-
get a boyfriend or something.
If you're a woman, they'll cut your face, give you permanent scars so you can't get married. So a bunch of different things like that. And Momoko's like, what?
Seems like that a
So
lot in this film, along with the rest of us. What?
yeah. So she calls the shop and is like, I'm not gonna be able to finish your embroidery on time. And he's like, it's due today. She's like, I know, but my friend needs me. And then he goes into this long treatise of how he always chose work over his friends, and now he has no friends and no family. So he's like, don't do what I did. Go ahead and go to your friend, and we can get the dress tomorrow. She's like, okay. And
That was
then
a long-winded saying to just be with your friends, and I essentially sucked.
Yeah, he just kept going over and over again. He was like, it's this, it's this, it's this. I was like, oh, he's gonna say no at the end of all this, because that would be the ironic part, is he would say, yeah, I feel bad, I don't have any friends or family, and because I don't have any, you can't either. But he didn't. Right. He made the right choice, because it's a manga for little girls. And then comes the best part in the movie, in my opinion, where she's like, Grandma, how do I get to the Buddha statue? And Grandma tells her how to in this directions that only a small town person would know. Turn left at the fork and go over the bridge, and turn right at the truck.
Right. Okay.
And she's like, okay, let me take the moped. And she's like, wait, I don't know how to drive, because that was the other thing, is that Lolita girls don't drive because that's not proper or cute or sweet or fancy. So she's like, I don't know how to drive. And then Grandma's like, to her son, she's like, you never taught her how to drive. So then you have a quick montage of her teaching her granddaughter how to drive. So then Momoko drives the purple souped up Honda moped.
That Ichigo rebuilt.
Right. To the Buddha statue, and that cuts back to the opening scene of the film, which is where she's on the moped and she's driving down the street and she gets hit by a cabbage
flying
truck.
In the air for 5 minutes, and lands on the ground.
And it's perfectly
no scratches.
You know what it reminds me of?
Takes the bike up and drives off on the bike.
Because the bike's not a distributor.
That's exactly how Megamind starts.
Really?
It starts at the end with Megamind falling through the air after getting collided, and he's like, ah! And now I'm falling to my death. But before that, this is what happens, and this is how I got in this horrible situation. And
record scratch. So you're wondering how I ended up in this situation, huh?
Yep. Megamind.
It's a very overused trope. Emperor's New Groove does it. God of War, the video game, does it. So there's a lot of.
I think
it's effective.
I haven't seen it recently, but I think during that time period, which the movie itself came out in 2004, it was used that era for I think for 5 years at least. It was used a lot.
They might be wondering how they got in this situation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it recently in anything.
Yeah. So Momoko goes and arrives at the challenge in a very spectacular fashion, i.e. runs into a dirt clod and falls over her moped, and it falls face first into the mud. And everyone laughs at her and is like, who is that? And it's like, oh, that's just Ichigo's frilly friend.
But she gets pissed off when she gets blood and mud on her. It's like, no.
So everyone starts fighting.
Right. Well, Ichigo tells Akemi and the rest of the gang, she's like, I don't like this. I don't like that you basically ceded our independence. I don't like that the gang is getting to be too big. The point about being a small gang is that we can control everything, control everyone, and we were cool. It's now we're not cool. Now we're just, corporate. We're trite. We're just like every other gang in existence. And she's like, you know what? Momoko doesn't care what anyone thinks of her, and she's independent, so I'm going to be independent too. And then they're like, haha, good luck with that. And so they start beating her, as they knew that they would. And Momoko was just kind of sitting there watching and is like, oh my gosh. And Ichigo's getting beat up pretty badly. I mean, she's holding her own a little bit, but it's one girl against 20 with bats and shovel. One girl had a shovel. It was kind of funny.
Well, Ichigo also said that Momoko wasn't her friend, too. Because I was like, oh, it's her friend. She's not my friend.
Well, what I'm getting, right, is they're kind of each learning from each other. Because in the beginning of the film, Ichigo tried to befriend Momoko, and she's like, "No, I don't need anybody. I'm by myself. I don't care what anybody thinks. I do my own thing." And then
Yeah.
so in the end, it rubs off that no, Ichigo is my. Momoko's now thinking, no, Ichigo is my friend. I want her to be in my life, whatever. And then Ichigo was like, no, yeah, I wanted to be like her and be more independent like her. So they really learned from each other of what they wanted. Because again, I didn't get to see the ending, so I was like, oh, okay, that I could see where this is all kind of coming together. How they learned, learned from each other.
There's one scene that I kind of skipped, and that's when she comes back, and I don't think it's from the embroidery. I don't know why she's upset, but Momoko is upset, and Momoko asks Ichigo to come visit her, and Ichigo's like, "Wait, you want me to come see you? Where are you? You never asked me to come see you."
Right.
And so they're at a train track, and this is when another fun part of the movie where Ichigo just jumps over the train tracks with no issue. And you're just like, safe. Uh, so anyway, so they're fighting, and Ichigo's getting beat up pretty badly, and she gets hit across the face, and blood splatters all across Momoko's white dress, and Momoko screams bloody murder like really loudly. She's like, "Oh my god, you did not just get blood on my dress." Picks up an aluminum bat and just starts beating the shit out of people. And beating the ground around them. And so basically she goes crazy. And she tells everybody that Ichigo is her friend, sort of, but like not really. And it's like, why am I okay at being independent? And it's like, and this is who I am. And then Kimi's like, haha, you stupid girl. Like, I don't care. I'll hit you too. She's like, you wouldn't dare hit me. You know why? Because I'm Himiko? Is that her name?
Miko?
Yeah, Himiko's daughter.
Himiko's daughter. And everyone's like, wait, what? And then she spins this tale about how Himiko met her embroiderer, and the embroiderer was a man, and they fell in love, and they had her, and then they ran away into the sunset to be happy, which is why no one can find them. But she stayed behind to kind of, grow up and live her own life. But she has her mother's information. So if you were to do anything to her, she was like, I will send my mother after you, and you don't want to piss me off. And they believed her.
Well, she's really good at manipulating people, right? Because she got all that money from her dad.
And it becomes very like traditional, like horror movie Japanese girl with like blood splattered on her face, and like her hair is wet and down, and I was just like, this could be from any Japanese horror film. And so they're like, oh shit, what? And she's like, so you're going to let Ichigo be an independent contractor, like be on her own, and you guys can have your little gang back. So they let them go, and as they are driving on their moped back to the house, Ichigo's like, wow, that lie was pretty impressive. And Momoko's like, I didn't think it would work, but I mean, it could have. And Ichigo's like, well, how did you even know to use that lie? And Momoko's like, because you lied about the whole thing. Like, you made up Himiko, and you made up the embroiderer, like Emma. And she's like, what? How did you know that? And so then you find out that Ichigo wrote a story about a woman, who saved a bunch of people from the Yakuza and united the bike gangs, the female bike gangs of the area, sent it into a biker magazine. The biker magazine ran the story and ran it as truth as opposed to fiction. And so the legend of Himiko grew. And so she's like, well, why did you add the part about the embroiderer? And Ichigo said, well, because you knew it was fake. You knew the Himiko story was a legend and a rumor, so I had to add something else to misdirect you. She's like, oh, okay. And then they ran off into the sunset together. I mean, she does, it ends with her giving the embroidery dress and going to maybe the stars shine bright and being successful and getting hired on. And then it goes like a kind of like, where are they now kind of thing. And she wanted to be she was a very successful clothes designer, but said, I don't want to design clothes. I just want to wear clothes. So even though I'm good at it, it's not what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So I'll just stick with wearing Lolita fashion instead of designing it. And Ichigo was a very talented model. So she modeled a lot of the Lolita fashion and became well known because a photographer got too handsy with her and she headbutted the photographer. And, and now she was like a really well-known fashion model throughout Japan. And that's where it ends.
Yeah. All happy ending.
Okay. Let's go into some final thoughts about the movie. Crimson, you've been talking forever, so let's start off with Elf. Elf, what are your final thoughts on the movie?
It is. It still holds up. I think is one of my favorites. I think it's pretty funny. I get a kick out of the sense of humor. You know, the fashion is like very near and dear to me. The whole dynamic of their friendship, of how like, you know, it's like, I don't even want friends, dude. What the hell? And it's like, I guess you're my friend. Damn. Okay. And like, I don't know. It's just a good trip. I like it.
Okay. Potions, what was your final thoughts on the movie?
I liked watching it, and just even though I was confused by a majority of it, it was definitely bright and entertaining and made me think about a lot of things. Plus, I really enjoyed watching everybody else's reactions too. Like, half the fun of the film for me is just talking with you guys about it and going, what? Along with everyone else. So, thank you for bringing it up, Daddy.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Stealth, what you got?
It was a fun, like, camping movie. I would have enjoyed it better if it was an anime, because then it could have been followed better. The transitions would have been fine. We won't be questioning, why the hell are you flying? Why are you flying? There's nothing for this to be flying about. But yes, I would recommend the movie. It was good.
Okay. My final thoughts on it, like it really was a hard watch because I had to keep telling myself, like, logically trying to put it in my head, like, okay, no, this is based off of manga. It again, I got confused real quick, real fast. And then of course I didn't know anything about the background on the manga. And then of course all the way, I mean, there were, those parts that we talked about. You're just like, okay, that's fun, that's entertaining. The one of the the way it was shot, again, it reminded me, of like a maybe even like an early '90s, '80s film. Like 2004. I'm sure the technology was better than that. That's how I felt about it. And it was a hard watch, but I mean, just listening to the end of the story, like watching what I got to watch, listening to the end of the story, it definitely sounds like it had some good moral value to it. Again, them coming from completely different backgrounds. And again, this is like manga. If it's based upon like manga, there's so many different types of mangas with so many different types of background stories and how they really put them together. To me, it was definitely, after hearing the end of it, the story definitely was worth something. And then, of course, it was very cliche because that's what they're supposed to do, right? Two different people from two different worlds somehow, some way become the best friends in the end. And, your enemy becomes your friend becomes your enemy, your lover becomes So I think, in that scope of thinking about it being a manga, I think it fit perfectly. It was hard for me to follow, which made it a hard watch for me. But it was entertaining. There were those moments when you're like, Pampa, what is Pampa phallic going on over here? And there were a lot of like really good quick cuts. You're just like, it kind of gave you a little shock factor. It kind of gave you that, like, why is she, projectile vomiting, and then dude got the lightning penis going on, and that's what I was like. Well, I can't have this up watching it while I'm watching the kids because I don't know what's going to show up on screen. So I was like, I mean, all in all, if it's your thing, I could definitely. It was entertaining, and again, what I love about when we watch these movies, like when we did Moonchild, same thing.
Yeah.
I was kind of lost about it, but then going back and being able to converse with you guys and talk about it and kind of how you guys point different stuff out, I have a more appreciation for it after the fact. But definitely during the fact, I'm just like, what am I watching? So those are mine. Crimson, what you got? Final thoughts on the movie?
I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Thank you, Elle, for telling me about it. I would never have seen it without you, but I love Lolita fashion too. I'm not like super into it like you are, but it's really cute and I understand the kawaii type of fashion like that. Um, I think it's very much like any sort of manga based or comic book based movie. It really, really, really reminded me of Amelie. Like even from the moment I opened it, like we started watching it within the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, this is basically Amelie. And I love Amelie. I think it's really cool. Or like, I can't think of words at the moment. Sin City. It's not like violently Sin City, but it's over the top, and it's very much like this is what you expect something to be when it's based off of a comic. And so I thought they did a really, really good job with that. I thought the actress who played Momoko deserved her accolade. I think she did really, really good. Very much changing from the sweet, I don't want anything bad to happen in my world, to pretending to be the daughter of a gang leader. It's like a really cool arc that they have. And then of course Ichigo being from like I wanted to be friends with somebody to I'm actually okay being myself and being who I know myself to be, and I don't need to look up to anybody else because I'm me and I'm not apologizing for it. So a really cool girl power. I definitely think it's a good movie to show like preteens or teens. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's funny. Like there are laugh out loud moments. Aside from Pompadour Guy, everything else I thought was definitely acceptable and very much like campy. And the Pompadour Guy eventually became campy. It was just that one shot. I was just
right. Everybody's like, what are we watching?
It was so slow and dramatic too. So
oh, it was like, and it was.
Okay.
It was the best entrance of the
They're just
film,
like,
and there
what-
were a lot of good entrances.
What is this?
Why is
it?
this phallic shaped object peeking out from around the corner? What is
Why
happening?
is it getting bigger? What is happening?
Right.
Exactly.
Oh,
But yeah, no, it was great. I really, really liked it. Highly recommend. Yeah, it was cool. Thanks.
okay. So,
I'm
Elf,
excited.
Daddy, thank you, and I know you guys are gonna kill me beforehand. So, again, thank you, Elf, for bringing that to us. Any final trivia? Anything you guys want to add before we move on to what's gonna happen next week?
Yes. For the special effects for the DVD, they had a music video that they did. Music was very important in this. I know it was kind of hard to hear with the way that we watched it, but the music soundtrack was like very impressive throughout the entire film and very much played into the type of aura that they were trying to showcase. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. The feeling that they were trying to evoke throughout the entire film. Atmosphere. There we go. And so the soundtrack was really cool and it was very popular.
What Elf?
Oh, sorry. I said also they didn't have my Bonnie.
Boo.
What do you mean?
My body lies over the ocean.
They didn't try to be like trendy with American music. Like let's.
Oh,
Oh,
kind of like in
Moonchild.
Moonchild. Right.
Yes, absolutely. They did not. They did not try too hard. They knew exactly what they were doing. So, yeah. So in the special features, they had a music video featuring Anna Tsuchiya. Sure. Yeah. Anyway, the girl who played Ichigo. They had her and doing a music video, which I thought was really cool. And then there is a Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray has the encoded English subtitles on it, which is what we watched. But they also had a little animated short called "The Birth of the Unicorn," which I think would be really fun to see.
Okay, that might be a little bonus episode we do as a quick ending of something. Okay.
Yep.
Um, Okay, so before we get into next week, because obviously, apparently, I pulled a short stick, and so before I reveal what I'm going to do, so I want to do some trivia questions real quick with you guys. Got 4 of them, just to kind of change it up a little bit. Okay, this is from a stat called "Things They Don't Teach You in School." Question number 1: which year, statistically speaking, is the most critical year in a marriage?
Year 7.
Isn't it 4?
I would say 7, but
7.
The 5th is what they say.
Oh,
The 5th.
really?
But there is that 7-year itch that they always talk about. Okay, according to studies, which country's people are the least proud of their nationality?
Germans.
German.
American.
Well, right now.
Right. Japan. That's what the card.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know, it's weird.
I can see that.
Because I learned other countries aren't as nationalistic as America. Like, they find it bizarre that we're all like, oh, America's the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Flag this, flag that. And I'm like, isn't everybody like that? And they're like, no, it's just you.
Right.
Yeah, it really is.
Right.
It really is, because even going to Guam, which is a U.S. territory, they are very, especially during Liberation Month, when they were liberated from the Japanese, they are very, very patriotic. On that island, 53% of its population is veterans.
I can believe that.
Yeah, that seems like it would make sense.
Okay, this one's kind of
Well,
nasty, but we'll go with it.
It's the fastest way off the island, so.
Right, is to become in the military. How much saliva, on average, do people produce in one day?
I don't want to know.
No, 3 cups.
2.3 cups.
Well, it's in ounces, so I don't know what the conversion is. 33 ounces. So 8 ounces are in a cup. So we're
Half
looking
gallon, 32 ounces is half gallon.
Is a pound
So
of
2 cups.
at.
4 cups.
That's gross. And my last question is, and this one I think is going to be kind of funny. You guys might get it, though. What product is stolen the most from supermarkets in
Cheese.
Italy?
In Italy?
In Italy.
In Italy, I don't. Oh,
Grapes.
pasta sauce.
Wine.
Potions? You got a quiet answer?
Item from grocery stores in Italy that gets stolen.
The most.
No, sorry. Was it supermarkets or grocery stores?
Supermarkets. So grocery stores.
Breadsticks.
Parmesan.
Ah!
Hey,
Did someone say cheese?
Right.
I'll say cheese.
32% of all the world's cheese gets stolen.
What?
That's crazy. That's a crazy fact.
Stop.
Okay.
Hey, the most stolen book in the world is the Bible.
Which is ironic as
That
hell.
is, yeah, that's ironic
You
AF.
can
Okay.
go into a church and get it for free, but that's fine.
Well, it's stolen from all the hotels.
Yeah,
is
it
what
is.
it is. That's where it's stolen from.
The Bible? They have Bibles in hotels?
Yeah, St. James.
Where? Not in any hotels.
In the room?
In the nightstand, in the top drawer.
I don't.
Generally, right next to the bed.
Why?
Because
Anyway.
they don't want you to sin in bed.
Shh. Okay. I'm not gonna do none of that while I'm on vacation.
But you
Anyway.
know, like the majority of people visiting like motels and stuff are committing adultery, technically.
Yeah, they're gonna fornicate. Let's just be very clear about that.
Like,
Okay.
which is also a sin. And it's like,
Not if you're married.
Well, yeah, if you're married.
Adultery is a sin if you're married, adultery is a sin.
No, I mean, if you fornicate when you're married, it's not a sin.
But we're talking about adultery.
Fornication without marriage, though, is.
Correct.
Well, no, but we're talking about adultery, not.
Well, Sean said fornication, so that's what I was going with.
Right.
Daddy says adultery.
Yeah, well, adultery is, yes.
Okay, so what we're gonna be doing next week, you guys are putting me on the spot, but we'll do Venom next week.
I was gonna say, wait, please don't say we're fornicating.
I don't know, like Venom the
We were
symbiote
talking about it, and then
and
it's like, oh, you put me on the spot. I'm like, oh shit.
I don't think my wife would like that.
Right. So we're gonna do Venom next week. I've never seen it. obviously they just recently released the new Venom trailer, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. I figure obviously it should be a good time to
yeah, I'm so hyped.
talk about that. Obviously, it connects into our Eminem episode earlier on. I think it was our second episode where he did Venom, right, for the Venom movie. So we'll be doing Venom
That's
next
one of my
week.
favorites.
And Mr. Flack said he'd never seen it, and all of us were like, "What?"
Right,
And
never
he didn't
seen
know
it.
who Tom
Just
Hardy
scratch goes.
was.
Oh, I feel bad for that.
Everybody's like, okay, then we need to see that, and we need to see all these other things you've never seen before.
We
we're
gotta
not-
watch Clue so you can
And
see
Tim Curry.
I know
I'm
who
gonna
Tim
make-
Curry is. I don't
He
get how
does.
you guys forget
Or
that.
maybe Rocky Horror.
That'd be another one.
No, next one I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna do this, but next one I'm gonna do will be Two Towers, just to force you to watch it.
Oh jeez.
Ooh.
The extended version,
But
right?
wait.
The 9-hour version, right? Oh jeez.
But wait,
Oh my
I have
God.
a request. I have a request. If we get to a point where we do Rocky Horror, I humbly request we do both. Because it's the only way to like actually enjoy the experience, to be able to compare and contrast.
What do you mean, both?
Okay.
The Tim Curry one and the Laverne Cox one, because like big fan of both.
Oh, the Laverne Cox one was the Rocky Horror Live one.
Also,
No.
Adam Lambert's in it. And
Right.
and it's great.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We'll figure something out.
Right. Okay. We can talk about that in post.
If we survive through Halloween time, we should do it around Halloween.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think that would be perfect. And then we could like dress up, right? I'd dress up for you guys.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Wait,
Okay.
we should all go like Rocky Horror Halloween.
John should be Dr. Frankenfurter.
Yes.
Do I gotta get a wig? Do I gotta get a wig for that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also a pearl necklace.
Okay. Okay.
And a corset, but that's fine. Hey, at least you don't need to wear the fishnets and the heels if you're sitting down.
That's true, because nobody's gonna see it.
No. We
I'm
have
sitting
three.
down
We're
and
gonna
you
do
still
this.
get to see my knees, so you still should wear the entire costume
Oh jeez.
just because.
We're all
yeah.
gonna wear the entire costume for something. We don't know what yet.
Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and close up the show. So next week we're doing Venom. Obviously, guys, if you guys are in the chat, stay tuned. It's either going to be a Wednesday or a Thursday, or maybe next week, or maybe not next week. It all depends because there's 5 of us here. So let me go ahead and give us the introductions. We have the Crimson Shield Scholar there on the end. If anybody has questions, comments, or emotional outbursts for you, where can they find you?
Crimson Shield Scholar on Instagram, on Discord, on Caitlin, but also Crimson Shield Scholar Discord, on Twitch, on Gamerized. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's Crimson S Scholar.
PotionsMaster 66 sitting right next to me. Questions, comments, or emotional outbursts for you. Where can they find you?
PotionsMaster 66 on Twitter, on Gamerized, on Facebook, or you can do Enter the Cauldron. I'm also on Discord as PotionsMaster, all one word, all lowercase. Yeah, I think that's it for now.
Stealth Dad in the house, in the corner over there. Anybody has questions, comments, or emotional outbursts for you, where can they find you?
Twitch.
Elf Daddy.
Let's see. Twitch, Instagram, and Cameras. I am Stealth Dad with a 3 instead of an E. On Twitter, I am Stealth Dad 1. And that's where you can find me, guys.
Elf Daddy. Questions, comments, or
Elf
emotional
Daddy.
outbursts for you, where can they find you?
I am on Twitch as elf__daddy. I'm on Twitter as Yukio. I'm on Gamerized as Yuki Rutherford, same as Facebook. Yeah.
You usually forget Instagram. Somebody always says
Oh
that.
yeah, Elf Daddy TTV, might be some underscores. I don't fucking know.
ElfDaddy_TTV.
There we go. Thank
And
you.
that's how it
Right.
works too.
So Elf Dad needs to get sticky
sure.
note for all his usernames where he's at. Sean needs to get the sticky note for recording. Needs to go live.
I can't do it now anyway, so
I know, but
No, just in
post stuff
general,
anyway.
like as reminders.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Elf, you need to keep all your handles next to your computer so you can just read them off.
For sure. Just be like, wait a second, hold on. I got a long list here. I gotta go through this.
Right. Well, my name is SeanFlac 2.0, and you can find me on Twitter at SeanFlac. I actually have a website too. I never plug it, but SeanFlac.com. You can find me on Twitch/SeanFlac. I think that's about it. So individually, we are streamers, but together we are the
Forgot
Shadow
my
Packs.
Twitch is the same thing.
And she just streamed from it
Sorry.
today too. So individually, we are streamers. To collectively, we are the Shadow Pack Squares. We are part of the Shadow Pack gaming community here on Twitch. Go ahead and drop that link in the chat. You got questions, comments, emotional outbursts about the stream team, Shadow Pack Gaming. Go ahead and check our website out there. You can also follow us on Twitter because we are on Twitter, or Shadow Pack Gaming without the G. And then just recently, again, Gamerize. Gamerize.com is a social platform by gamers for gamers. You can find us there. That link is also in the chat. Last but not least, if you would like to hang out with us in the Discords, you're part of the Discords, you could join us at the Tavern. The Tavern is Queen Luz. She's a streamer that's also on the Shadow Pack stream team.
Proprietor.
She is the proprietor of the Tavern, and in between our adventures and things like that, we have a shady little corner in the back where you can find all your Shadow Pack Gaming members. I think that's it for this episode. And actually, we broke a record. We're under 2 hours.
Hey, Sean. I have a question.
You know,
By 12 minutes.
right.
Where is the G anyway?
For some reason, it's like because the game. First of all, it was like the game it's too long. The name is too long, and then apparently the G's are taken out for some reason when you put gaming in there, and I don't know because the CEO of Gamerize had called it too. He was like, yeah, they're not letting us put the G at the end of gaming. So I don't know if that's a Twitter thing or not. So maybe somebody in the chat or somebody that's watching the video could explain it a little bit more.
For Twitter, it's definitely a character limit because I couldn't fit my whole name in either. I don't know. I guess Twitch has the same Twitter or same character limit, and I'm assuming Gamerize does too. So.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, I think that's going to be
YouTube
it for
does
us.
not, though. You can find us at the full name on YouTube.
But you have a short name, though.
No, I'm talking about Shadow Pack Gaming.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe they have one more. They're like better because they're not. Okay, anyway. Yep. So that'll be it for today's episodes. Again, you guys got questions, comments, emotional outbursts. Check us out on all of our socials. All that information will be in the description below. And until the next episode, everybody,
stay
sharp.
Stay sharp.
Stay sharp.